Hey, change agents, welcome today. My name is Tracy V. Allen. I am the owner of TVA Consulting, where we help our clients to develop the systems and processes needed to build and grow profitable, sustainable, and compliant infrastructures so that they can achieve their mission and realize their vision. But most of all, we help them to create impact within their communities, right? So today we're talking about strategic implementation. So, the whole series for this week has been about strategic planning, and we've gone through different processes when it relates to strategic planning. So, we're talking about implementation today. All right. So, the first thing that you need to do when you're implementing, you're at the stage where you're implementing your strategic plan, is to monitor the progress. Are things going according to plan? Is everything in the time being done in the time frame that you expect it to be done? Are the outcomes that you've achieved thus far, are they what you expected? Okay, monitoring the progress along the way helps you to stay on target and helps you to tweak things that are not working correctly as you go along. If you're not monitoring and checking back with that strategic plan to see if things are being done the way it's supposed to be done and you're meeting all of your benchmarks, what will end up happening is that you reach the end road and now you're like, oh, if we had known that XYZ wasn't happening, we could have done XYZ. So to prevent that hindsight, you want to be proactive and make sure that you're monitoring the progress along the way and that you are going back to your strategic plan and making sure that things are being done effectively. So the next thing that you want to do is that you want to identify disruptions. What is causing these problems in the strategic plan implementation process? Is it a technical problem? Is it lack of training? Is it someone who's just not competent at doing the required job? What are the disruptions? What are causing these disruptions? Again, it goes back to monitoring the progress. What are causing these disruptions, and how can you circumvent that early on in order to prevent an unfavorable outcome from happening? Because you always want to make sure that you're doing what is necessary to get the desired outcome. So when you get the desired outcome and you look at it, you could be like, oh, okay, this is great. We achieved what we wanted to achieve. But if we had done XYZ, this is a better XYZ situation. If we had done XYZ, we could have had an even better outcome. You don't want the outcome to be, if we had done XYZ, we would have achieved our outcome. You want to achieve your outcome and then reflect and say, okay, if we had done XYZ, the outcome could have been even better. So that is why you need to monitor your progress and you need to identify disruptions during the process, not after, okay? The next thing you want to do is allow for adaptability. So what does that mean? That not everything is going to go the way you expect it to go. Like right now, things are not going the way how most of us expected our lives to go for 2020. So what do we have to do? We have to adapt. Okay, we have to pivot. If you are not flexible, then and you're very rigid, then things are not going to go as planned. So think about any situation. If you can tweak it ever so slightly for it to work, why not do that instead of being rigid and then not getting the outcome that you expected to get? Be flexible in your implementation process. Excuse me, be flexible in your implementation process. Things don't always go as planned, but if you're monitoring and you're identifying the disruptors, you're able to become adaptable and still get your desired outcome, even though it is not as prescribed in your strategic plan. Remember again, your strategic plan is a fluid document, meaning that it is not written in stone. It doesn't have to be done exactly the way it is in your strategic plan. There is flexibility in your strategic plan and you need to be flexible. All right. The next thing is sharing information with stakeholders. So your stakeholders in a nonprofit is your board of directors and your department managers. And in your for-profit business, it may be board of directors who get paid, right? Versus in a nonprofit. And it can be your investors, it can be your partners. So whoever your stakeholders are, you want to make sure that you're sharing the information that you're gathering when you're monitoring the process, identifying the disruptors, and you're adapting to whatever the situation that presented itself is. You want to make sure that you're letting the key people in your organization know what's going on. So that could be through a weekly email or a conference call that's maybe 30 minutes or an hour long, whatever it is. But you need to also write this process down. So when you're finding things that are being disruptive, or you had to adapt, make some changes along the way, you need to document this so that when you go back at the end to really evaluate the strategic plan, you have that process outlined. So now you can create a new strategy that will account for all of the disruptions and the adaptations that you had to do. So the next thing that you want to do is to report irregularities. Again, it's similar to disruptions. Anything that doesn't go according to plan, anything that, maybe the data is skewed because maybe you weren't keeping good records to begin with. So you built your strategic plan based on one set of data. And then once you started the implementation process, you realized that, oh, the people that we serve are not really 45-year-old women, it's more 35-year-old women. So any type of irregularities that you find in the data or in the process of implementation, you want to make sure that you document that as well. All this is really about documenting. Keeping good records in a business, for-profit business or nonprofit business, is essential to your success. You cannot build and grow if you don't have data to build and grow off of. It is imperative that someone be designated to document or upkeep the records of the strategic plan, because you are going to have to go back and revisit that plan and evaluate that plan and make changes to that plan. And the only way that you can do that is if you've had some type of documented record as to what happened in the implementation process. What did you learn from it? What went right? What went wrong? What did we have to change as we went along, because we saw that it was going to be a problem that was going to be snowballing, and then our outcome would not have been achieved. And then the last thing is you want to celebrate achievements. So when you achieve something in the strategic plan, you want to say, yay, you want to celebrate that. You want to be happy about that. You want to be able to celebrate those wins. People are working hard to make sure that this strategic plan is implemented correctly and that the expected outcomes are achieved. So you want to make sure that you let people know that they're doing a good job. You want to celebrate when everything works according to plan, or you had to tweak it along the way and then it worked out well. Celebrate those wins. This is not a boot camp per se. It is a process. And during any process, it's a learning experience. And things happen along the way. And as you learn, you want to celebrate. So those are the steps to strategic implementation. If you want to reach out to us, you can reach me at tracyvallen.com or tvacon.com. Either one will take you to the same website. We would love to work with your organization or business to create a strategic plan that can help you elevate your business to the next level. Again, thank you for joining us. And remember that there is someone in your community that is waiting for the product or service that you offer, and it's up to you to make sure that you get the process correctly. Have a great day, everyone.